Hi everyone, welcome to another table talk. Today I wanted to do kind of a midterm review on the Turnigy AE-45 amp speed controller. And by midterm review I mean I haven't, not on this particular one, but on one that I have in my red MIG. I've actually been alternating it back and forth between my red MIG and my SU-30. I've accumulated about 75 or 80 flights on it now. Just really putting it through its paces. So I wanted to just talk about it sort of midterm, because I haven't really run it in hot weather yet. Through the summer I'll have the opportunity to run it at temperatures here where I live. Summer temperatures get some into the high 20s Celsius. I mean, I think the warmest I've run it in is maybe about 5 right now, because the last couple months it's been winter here. So it's been run in fairly cool conditions. But I've run it with several different motors in the air, which, if you go through my YouTube channel, I've done several different videos and ESC showdowns and all that sort of stuff. And I've also done a considerable amount of bench testing with it, experimenting with all the different settings on several different motors as well. Essentially, this is I'm very, very pleased with how this speed controller is working thus far. Again, a shout out to RC Plane Pirate for recommending it to me, until I started watching his videos and saw that he was using an AE-65. I didn't even really know that these existed. So since I had discussions with him and I've picked up a couple of these, I've been super impressed with how they've been performing. So bottom end, I've been running it. I ran it quite a bit with the 2212-6 2200 kV motor, and as I've discussed in other videos, when I sort of did a bit of a discussion where I discussed these three speed controllers that I'm currently using: the Plush, obviously, which I've been using for years, and the Hobby Wing Platinum Pro, which I've been using for a couple months now as well. So this with this motor, it actually the nice thing about it is it actually runs the best at just factory default. So straight out of the box, you put your connectors on it, fire it up, set your throttle points, and it runs the best with that. You don't need to do any playing around. Now it pulls with a 6x4 EPC gas prop, similar to what I have on this motor. It pulls about 30 amps. Now they do sell a 30 amp speed controller, but just I'm just giving you what I've read from the Hobby King website. The Turnigy AE-30, it doesn't look like it has essentially low, medium, and high timing settings, similar to the Plush here. It doesn't have all the expandability that this one does. The other drawback, I think, with the 30 amp speed controller is that I've read a lot of reports where when people have tried to run it on 4S and it's rated for 4S, is that they've had a lot of problems with the BEC not working. So anyway, I think again, if you were just starting off and were looking for a speed controller for a lot of park jet use, I'm very pleased with how this has been working out. Because right off the bat, if you're just starting off, you just pull it out of the box, hook it up to your 2212, 2200, which I think is, a good starter motor for park jets, and away you go. You don't need to play around with the timing settings or anything else. Just, make sure you set your throttle points and, top and bottom, and away you go. I've run it with, a lot of motors that are pulling, 30 to 40 amps. Run just fine, no problems at all. Actually stayed quite cool. I've been running it quite a bit lately with this. This is the Sunny Sky Edge 2305 2800 kV motor with the 6x4 EPC gas prop, and with custom settings that I've found through experimentation of 22.5 degrees on the timing and 24 kilohertz on the pulse width modulation frequency. This really, really rips. Now it does pull a lot of amps. On the bench it pulls about 45 amps. So, pardon me, in the air, if we apply the sort of the standard rule of thumb that most people use, that you're going to be pulling about 25% less amps, it's going to be pulling in the neighborhood, let's say in the air, of around 34 amps. So what I would say about this is that, even running it in cool temperatures, it's getting pretty warm. So I'm not 100% sure if, the 45 amp rating is exactly accurate, but I don't have any problem, and I wouldn't have any problem, running this motor, I don't think, even in the hotter temperatures. But again, I'm going to need to evaluate that when the summer comes. I definitely wouldn't, as I've said before in some of my other videos, it only has a 50 amp burst rating, so it doesn't have much more, buffer above 45 amps. So I wouldn't certainly, if you had tested a motor and it was pulling 48 amps, I wouldn't recommend using this. I would, go up to, a 50 amp speed controller. Unfortunately, this jumps from the AE line of speed controllers. It jumps from 45, I think, up to 65, which is what RC Plane Pirate uses in his bench test videos. But yeah, it's run really, really well. I put it through a lot of punishment. A lot of very, very aggressive throttle movements, and it delivers the power smoothly. Sometimes with speed controllers that I've tested in the past that were a little bit inferior, sometimes what will happen is, especially after you've been flying for a while and the speed controller starts to get warm, is you'll be slamming the throttle around, and what you'll have happen sometimes is that as you really hammer it, is the motor will kind of skip on you. It'll ding, 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 that, I mean, pardon my sound effects, but it'll do that sort of thing. I've never had that problem with this speed controller, even with this motor where I'm really pushing it right to its limits. The battery elimination circuit in it, so far I run 6 servos on all my planes. I've never had a problem with anything. I've had all 6 servos running, doing high alpha, or sometimes flying in a little bit of wind. I've got my elevons, my ailerons, and feeding in a little bit of rudder. So I've only been running it on 3S, and I haven't had a single problem with the battery elimination circuit. So it's run really, really well. So like I said, I'm really impressed with the performance. I'm impressed with the versatility. Now, other than this motor, the 2212 2200, you do have to start playing around. If you go, for park jet use, for most of these park jet and quad racing motors, anyways, on 3S, is you do have to start playing around with the custom settings, or like I said, I've done a lot of testing. So if you have a particular motor that I might be running, you can go, to my motor test spreadsheet and sort of find out the results that I had. If you don't, say, have a thrust stand, and then go from there. One of the things I think I've said in a previous video, the minute I changed the pulse mod, other than the 2212 2200, the minute I changed the pulse width modulation frequency to 24 from the factory default of 12, the mid-range power on just about every motor I've tested it with opened right up. Really, really impressed with the fact that it's a fairly inexpensive motor, or speed controller. I think it's about $21. They had it on sale in their recent warehouse sale, but it's it's sold out. So, but I've seen it on sale for as cheap as like $16 or $17. So yeah, very, very impressed with it. For its price. This Hobby Wing is this is an awesome speed controller as well, but it costs $40 regular. Every motor that I've run with it, other than the Emax 2306 2750, it's run right on par with the Plush and the Hobby Wing, and in some cases a lot more mid-range power. So yeah, so I would definitely say, again, for me, what I've seen thus far, again, this is just a midterm review. I will do, after the summer comes and I've had a chance to fly it in much warmer temperatures and see how its heat dissipation works when the air temperature's 20 degrees or more Celsius higher than it is now. But this would be a good. I think that this is a really good, inexpensive and versatile speed controller if you're just starting off, say, in park jets. Again, I'm using, the Plush have been my old faithful for many, many years, and these are really good speed controllers. I mean, I know that these are durable and versatile, but I'm using the 3.1. Maybe the version 4.2 that they're selling now is better. I don't know. That's something that I'm going to evaluate in the future coming up when I can get one when they're not sold out. But if you were just starting off, I would have no problems thus far from what I've seen recommending this. And like I said, because it's right out of the box, works great with the 2212, 2200. Just hook it up, set your throttle points, and away you go. And then if you start to step up, you want to increase the performance. You want to go up to like this is the 2212 5T 2700. A little bit of a power upgrade. It works really, really well with this speed controller as well, with those custom settings of 22.5 degrees on the timing, 24 kilohertz on the pulse width modulation frequency. So yeah, so far midterm review passes with flying colors. Again, a few months down the road, as we get into some hotter temperatures, I'll continue to keep flying it and pushing it hard. With this motor, the Sunny Sky Edge, that's a really amp-hungry little beast. But it allows me to see how this speed controller works long term under load when it's being pushed right to its limit. So again, shout out to RC Plane Pirate for recommending these and helping me out with them. And like I said, I've got gobs of posts written on my blog post, and lots of flight videos where I've been flight testing it with a wide range of motors. With both the custom settings and the factory default settings. So yeah. Flying colors so far with the Turnigy AE-45. Continually more testing to come, but yeah, very, very good speed controller so far for park jet use. Up to and including six servos. It's a good little package. I'm really impressed with it. So there you go, folks. Thanks very much for watching. Blue skies, calm winds to everyone. Park jet noise, the other sound of freedom, baby. Take care.